MagicCon Atlanta was in full swing this weekend, so that means that instead of having a fun weekend with family like I intended, I got stuck having people blow up my phone about all the new spoilers and drops at the con. But one saving grace was getting to see the new Secret Lairs that are partnering with PlayStation to get released and revealed. So let's do the lazy content creation things and put these bad boys into a tier list. I'm going to be splitting the grading for this into two separate parts, one being how much I like the mechanically unique commander cards and how much I like the reprints that come with them. I will not be speculating on the pricing of the actual commander cards because as we've seen, there can be highs like the Marvel Secret Lairs and lows like the Sonic Secret Lairs. And then of course, this will be based on my own personal bias and opinion, so don't be salty whenever I put your favorite IP low. And now let's start off with The Last of Us Part 1, where we get two unique commanders of Joel Resolute Survivor and Ellie Brickmaster. Joel has Menace on a 4/4 body, and whenever a creature token dies, we get to put a +1/+1 counter onto it and draw the card, limited to only once each turn. Ellie states that whenever someone swings at one of our opponents, they make a 1/1 Cordyceps infected creature token that is attacking that player. Both of them have the Survivor's Partner keyword, allowing them to both be in the command zone together. And now the flavor and synergy of these two is actually really good. Ellie gives the whole table creatures if they don't swing at us, and Joel gets big and draws us card whenever those creature tokens die. In Jund colors, I can see this deck going a lot of different ways, which I also like, most likely leaning into a sacrifice theme with Joel's effect, but all around, these are two great commanders that I'm really happy to see are as good as I would want them to be. And for the reprints with this Secret Lair, we start off with a bang seeing Cabal Ritual added to this drop, which is just a great mana source that if we do build into that sacrifice theme, will be netting us more mana whenever our graveyard is full, and just a great card to have with Joel and Ellie. We also get a great background in the Haunted one, which gives our commanders the ability on when they swing, other creatures that share a creature type with them get +2 power and undying until the end of turn, and since we have partner commanders, both of them will get this effect, meaning that if both of them swung, our humans would be getting +4 power and undying until the end of turn. Just a great effect for our commanders that I love seeing here. And now for the last card for the— oh damn, it's just the token. And I know it's cool and that we'll be needing this token for the deck since they do specify this very unique token from The Last of Us, but I would just rather them throw it in as a bonus and give us a 5th reprint card that people know the value of, like Cabal Ritual and Haunted one. And now for the flavor on the commanders, I'm going to give this Last of Us Part 1 an A, and for the reprint value, I am going to knock it down to a B just because I do not like seeing a token there, and would even just like a $2 card and reprint value that would go into the 99. But after averaging them out, and with my own personal bias, I think that Ellie and Joel from The Last of Us Part 1 Secret Lair are going to be a nice slot in for the A tier. And now moving to the next drop, we're going to be staying close to the first one and looking at The Last of Us Part 2 Secret Lair with Abby and Ellie as our partner commanders now. Ellie lets us pay 2 life to sack another creature to ping a opponent for 2 damage, and it would then give Ellie indestructible until the end of turn. And then Abby, off of being cast, will let us make those Cordyceps tokens equal to the amount of mana spent to cast it. Abby will then enter under the control of a opponent's choice. And now, whenever I was told about a Secret Lair with Abby and Ellie in the command zone as partners, I was kinda skeptical of the flavor of it because since spoilers to almost no one, these two girls do not like each other. But I think that the design team really pulled off this wonderfully. Both of them have the Survivor's Partner keyword, so you could also mix and match them with the commanders from the Part 1 drop, but being able to put Abby under someone else's control and kind of make that rivalry is really good flavor-wise. And now for the reprints, we do get 2 bangers again with Dictate of Erebos and the Michaeloth, both being a little less valuable than the 2 that we got in the Part 1 drop, but let's see how they make up for it with the last card. Damn it, it's another token again! Flavor and playability for the commanders, I'm gonna give an A again, and for the reprint value, I'm gonna drop it all the way down to a C, just because the other 2 cards besides the token aren't as good as the Part 1 drop in my opinion, but The Last of Us Part 2 I think is a really good B tier Secret Lair to me. Next on our list is going to be the God of War Secret Lair, featuring Kratos as our mechanically unique commander. Kratos' mono red has double strike, gives all creatures haste, and deals damage to a player on their end step equal to the number of creatures they control that did not attack this turn. A hyper-aggro mono red commander that wants to watch the world burn. Such a good flavor win that I love to see. And now for the reprints, we get World at War, just a great extra combat card that gets Rebound, letting us cast it again for free on our next turn if we casted it from our hand. Just a decent card value-wise that I would assume most people would be wanting to put into their Kratos deck, so I think it's a really good add to this drop. Next, we get Rite of Flame in Sulfuric Vortex, Rite being a good card in other formats besides Commander, and Sulfuric Vortex being just a decent mono red card that's going to deny life gain and burns the whole table a little. Not the most impressive stuff in these last 2 reprint slots, but I do see the flavor in adding them to a Kratos-themed Secret Lair. And then lastly, we get Pyrohemia, a great card not only value-wise but also playability and flavor, a good outlet for red mana to burn every creature and player, and really adds to a Kratos deck that just wants to burn anything it can. Flavor on Kratos, I'm once again going to give an A, and reprints I'll give a B. Would be a no doubt A, but I think that Sulfuric Vortex and Rite of Flames does bring it down a tier, mostly because I feel like if you're buying these Secret Lairs, it's to build a commander deck around them. And I just really don't think that Rite of Flame or Sulfuric Vortex would be auto-includes and would possibly be cut whenever brewing Kratos. But I do feel pretty confident putting it into the A tier though, probably just under The Last of Us Part 1, because while Part 1 does come with a token in one of its slots, 2 of these cards wouldn't probably go into the deck, but I think the rest of it makes up for it and keeps it in the A tier. Next, we get the God of War Ragnarok Secret Lair featuring Kratos and Atreus as partner commanders. Atreus lets us pay 3 mana to draw the card for each experience counter we have and then discard a card. It then deals 2 damage to each opponent. Kratos states that whenever we swing with one or more gods, or a god that we control dies, we get an experience counter, and on our end step we get to put a number of +1/+1 counters onto target creature equal to the number of experience counters we have. And I just love bringing back experience counters for these two, and just the Jeskai color scheme as a whole are really good for these two as partner commanders. And now the reprints look great on this one. We get Teferi's Ageless Insight and Freya as Iris God of Victory, 2 cards that will be great in this deck. And then for the final card we get, we don't get a 5th card, we just get the backside of Teferi's Ageless Insight as another art of Teferi's Ageless Insight? Alright then. So the flavor on the commanders is once again going to be an A for me. Reprints, I'm going to go all the way down and say a C tier for me. Even with The Last of Us giving us a token I don't like seeing, at least you can use it while playing the deck. Being the same price as all the other Secret Lairs, but missing out on 1 card just doesn't really sit right with me. So God of War Ragnarok is going to be making up the bottom end of B tier for me. Next, we're going to look at the Uncharted Secret Lair with Nathan Drake as our Grixis commander. Nathan has First Strike, lets us use mana of any color to cast and use abilities of spells and permanents that we control but don't own, and off of swinging, lets us exile the top card of everyone's library, letting us be able to play him. I think that Nathan is going to be the most good stuff commander that we will be seeing out of these drops in my opinion. While the cast from exile and playing other people's spells I think does really work for Nathan Drake as a commander, I think that it just sits at a lower tier to the other commanders that we're going to be getting from this drop. I would have loved to see them add in a mechanic to just show his luck, but in the end, while a tier lower, I do think that Nathan Drake is fine flavor-wise. And also the reprints are gonna be hit or miss whenever it comes to this drop in my opinion. We get cards like Midnight Clock and Chain Reaction, which I guess are pretty good flavor-wise, but are both cards that are pennies that I don't even really think that you would need or want in your Nathan Drake deck. But then we also get absolute bangers like Whip of Erebos and Passionate Archaeologists, that not only hold a great value for the Secret Lair, but fit great into a Nathan Drake deck. Overall, not my favorite of the drops, even with Uncharted being one of my favorite gaming franchises, so I'm going to give it a B for flavor on the commander and a C for reprints, and while it does pay me to say this, I think that Nathan Drake is going to be our first entry into the C tier. Next, we're going to look at the Horizon Secret Lair drop, featuring Aloy as our commander. That states that whenever one or more artifact creatures we control attack, discover X where X is the greatest power among them. Again, kind of a Nathan Drake situation where it's kind of just good stuff, but I do think it does a slightly better job of being a flavor win for Aloy. There could definitely be more to be had here flavor-wise, but I am happy with what Aloy does in the command zone. For the reprints, we start off rough with Tarian Soul Cleaver, Farseek, and Meteor Golem, which, while of course are flavor wins, are not cards that will be making our money's worth for the Secret Lair, all of them being below or at $1 to buy. But good God, do we make up for that with our last reprint being Blightsteel Colossus. Not only a flavor win, but a great card in this deck, with the added bonus of being $30+. For flavor, Aloy's going to get a B in the command zone, reprints, I'm going to say a C, and while Blightsteel does hold a good price tag and fits right into this deck, the other 3 being not even close to $3 together just doesn't sit right with me, so Horizon is going to be in the C tier, a little bit over Nathan Drake in my opinion. And now lastly, we're going to look at the Ghost of Tsushima Secret Lair, with Ghost being our commander. Jhin has whenever it deals combat damage to a player, we draw a card, and whenever a creature we control attacks a player, if no other creatures are attacking that player, we can give it either double strike or make it unblockable until the end of turn. Such a flavor win and a great commander to represent Jhin. But now the reprints though are rough to say the least. Starting off, we get Path to Exile and Ghostly Flicker, which, while again are good cards flavor-wise, are pennies on the dime that really I just don't see worth it as reprints. We then get Born Upon the Wind, which is a good card in high power, but I don't see it even having a place in this deck. And then finally for the reprints, we get Eiganjo Castle, which while is a good land with a decent price tag, again it feels weird having this be the best card in a deck whenever I think it had so many other better options for reprints. For the flavor, I'm going to be giving an A for Jin, and then I'm going to be giving an F in reprint value. And now I'm ranking it so low because I really only see 2 cards being reprinted going into the deck, and I really don't even think that they feel good. Path to Exile sure is an auto-include in white just as a good removal spell, but did that really need a reprint slot in this expensive Secret Lair? The same goes for the castle. And so while it's hard to say it, I think that Jin will be making up the bottom of C tier, wrapping up our tier list. And now once again, we don't even know what the value of these mechanically unique commanders will be, and if they'll hold up like Sonic or like Marvel, so I wouldn't put all my bets quite yet on just how much the Secret Lairs will be worth after release. This is a tier list to simply say, if you're able to beat the line on October 27th, this is what I think you are getting at a flavor and value-wise package of what we know pre-launch. And now, of course, take this list for what it's worth, but even I won't be following it. I am a huge Voltron and Ghost of Tsushima fan, so I will be getting up early to wait in line on the 27th, even though I ranked it last on this list to buy. Now, alright, how do I end this? Like, subscribe, use our link on TCG Player in our bio, and when in doubt, build Voltron.